All right, welcome back, y'all. And today I'm going to continue my tirade on trucks because this has just spawned one idea after the other. And the premise today, the question is, have truck prices become outrageously expensive? And part of me says yes. You certainly hear online conversations, people talking about how expensive trucks have become. It's unreasonable. And I certainly feel that way. But I like data. So I wanted to actually take a look at it and do a comparison. And so the first thing I did is try to find out what the average cost of a truck versus a car is today. And I was surprised on both sides. Number one is data is really hard to find that's I can count on, but it seems that at some point in 2020, the average price of a car crossed $40,000. That blows my mind. That's about $10,000 more than I thought it was going to be when you can buy an Accord and a Camry, the meat of the market for 30-ish. I was really surprised that 40 is the average. And then the average price of a truck is somewhere right at around 50, which is honestly, with the bighorn additions and everything else, that's honestly less than I expected it to be. But I decided I wanted to look a little bit deeper into this other than just my feelings and that of others, and really compare how car prices and truck prices have changed. So I picked 1990 as the year I was going to look at. And the reason for that is, other than I remember it, and I remember the little trucks fondly. I remember there was a Car and Driver article, I think it was Car and Driver, where they asked if a small basic pickup could replace a small car for people starting out. So that you go get a 5-speed, 4-cylinder, 2-wheel drive, say Toyota pickup truck, and instead of buying your Tercel at the time, you just use the pickup truck. And I want you to stop and think about that for a minute, that it would be reasonable to think that I might use a Toyota Yaris or go get a Tacoma, where the Yaris we know is so much less expensive now than the small car option, right? So it's almost a ridiculous premise from today's world. And so that's why I decided 30 years was a nice long time. We could get some meaning here. We had a couple of downturns and we had some really good growth cycles. And of course, the car world has changed dramatically. So this also reflects how have car manufacturers helped kept the price of their vehicles down. So I looked at this twofold. The first one was compare a Nissan truck to a Nissan small car. So in 1990, you could get a Nissan hard body pickup truck for $9,690. And this is not, I'm not trying to normalize between equipment levels or anything like that. This is literally the lowest base price I could find versus the lowest base price. That's it, everything I'm doing here. So $9,690, and a Sentra was $10,999. So the truck was more than $1,000 less expensive. Now in 2021, when I just checked a little while ago, base price of a Frontier, $26,790. Now that truck is due to be redone, so the price is probably going to go up a little bit, but $26,790, and then a Sentra base price is now $19,410. So the truck price has increased by a factor of 2.76. Remember that number. And the small car has increased by 1.76. So the small car's gotten more expensive, but the truck's gotten more expensive by almost a factor of 3. So I decided to take a look at more meat of the market, and I mean this and an Accord and a Chevy Silverado. So the Accord in 1990 was $13,095, and the Silverado was $10,445. So think about going and buying a Chevy Silverado for almost $3,000 less than a Honda Accord, right? In 2021, the Accord basic one, most basic they offer, is $24,970, and the Silverado is $28,990. So in this time, the Accord has gone up by a factor of 1.9, so just under 2 a factor of 2, just less than doubled. And the Silverado has increased by 2.76. There's that 2.76 again for trucks, just like the Frontier. That means the Silverado started 21% cheaper and is now 16% more expensive. Now I want to pause there for a second. And trucks at that time, the basic ones, they were super basic, right? It was vinyl seats, and you might not even get a radio. I think the Frontier might have come, or excuse me, the hard body might have come with 2 speakers, something like that. So we're talking super, super basic. So the trucks certainly had further to come. Certainly the trucks are supposed to be engineered to be more durable, more expensive parts, and just more metal going into it. So the material cost and the assembly should be just a little bit more expensive as well. So it's not unusual to think that similarly equipped, the truck would be a little bit more expensive. But do we really think it's 25% more? So before I talk about that anymore, I just wanted to say, out of curiosity, if that Silverado had the price had increased by 1.9, like the Accord did, you would be able to go buy a brand new basic Silverado for $19,846. And that's a large truck I think I would consider, because I'm not paying $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for a new truck. So why has this happened? Well, I think it's 2 different things. The first is that trucks had much further to come. Again, I think they started more basic than the basic cars at the time. So they had to come up, and then, of course, technology has advanced. Certainly, trucks have gotten huge. I just did a video on that, on how big they are compared to the trucks of old. And so there's a lot more materials going into them, while small cars and mid-sized cars have certainly gotten bigger as well. It's a level of material use. I think it's increased in trucks more. But the second part of that is simply supply and demand. I mean, sport utilities are becoming more expensive because they're becoming so much more popular, and trucks continue to sell in that 400, 500,000 range every single year. There's an incredible demand for it. And other than major recessions and major gas spikes, it's become really resilient to price. So that's why the average truck is 25% more expensive than the average car, and it's the basic level trucks in 30 years have gone from being 20% less expensive to 16 or more percent more expensive than the cars. So the question I ask here on the video is, are new trucks overly expensive, outrageously overpriced? And yeah, I think the answer is yes. Certainly we appreciate their refinement and their technology and what they've become, but they're outpacing the development in cars. And there's, absolutely nobody can look at a new Honda Accord or Toyota Camry and think it's the same as a 1990s, that they've had instrumental, just incredible advancement in their refinement and technology as well. So yeah, I don't want to say that the big 3 and Toyota and Nissan are gouging us on their truck prices, but sometimes it sure feels like it. So I'd love to know your thoughts below. Do you think trucks are overpriced? Do you think they're worth it because of the advancements that have been made? You know what? Leave me a comment below. Let me know. But I appreciate you.